A new challenger has appeared in the NASCAR Xfinity Series, and the rest of the competition needs to watch their back. How's it going, y'all? My name is Eric and welcome to Out of the Groove. It has been a busy first week of December so far. If you missed it last night, Corey LaJoie announced his 2021 plans. I did a video talking all about that last night. A major Cup Series Silly season player has found his new home. Very exciting. But today, we are mostly talking about the NASCAR Xfinity Series because a heavyweight has entered the ring. We're going to talk all about Kaulig Racing's latest announcement in just a moment, but to start this episode, we've got to discuss perhaps the biggest piece of news of the entire season. When this news broke yesterday, I about flew out of my seat. Shocking news. I first saw it from Bob Pockrass on Twitter last night. NASCAR confirms driver names will be on the front windshield banner instead of Cup Series next season. Oh my goodness, and I thought 2020 couldn't get any wilder. Okay, I'll drop the act. This is actually pretty cool news though. I always liked when NASCAR featured the drivers' names on the front of the car, front and center. I always liked that. Since 2017, however, the driver names have been moved to the rear windshield, and at first it was Monster Energy on the front windshield, and this last season it was just Cup Series. Oh goodness gracious. This is the most OP face shield COVID's ever seen. Anyway, I did like the windshields this year, but I do prefer having the driver's name feature. They're the stars of the sport. You want their names to be as visible as possible. Manufacturer logos will remain on the windshield as well, so you're still gonna have Ford, Toyota, Chevy up in the corners, probably with the driver's name. It'll look like it did in the Sprint Cup era. I guess the actual design has not been confirmed. I mean, what if they print the driver's names in like Comic Sans or Impact font? Ooh, I don't think they're going to do that. But anyway, very exciting, very welcome sight to see. Now let's get to the actual top story in today's video. AJ Allmendinger is returning to full-time NASCAR racing in 2021. Kaulig Racing announced this morning that he will drive their number 16 Chevy Camaro full-time in the NASCAR Xfinity Series next year. This is big. AJ has not run full-time NASCAR anything since 2018, his last year in the Cup Series with JTG Doherty. We've seen Allmendinger run part-time Xfinity in 2019. We've seen him run part-time Xfinity this year in 2020. He's run a combined 16 Xfinity Series races over the last 2 seasons, winning 3 times. In 2020, he made 11 of those starts and won twice. He won at Atlanta earlier in the year, his first oval win in a NASCAR series, and then he won at the Charlotte Roval for the 2nd year in a row. His one and only win in the NASCAR Cup Series came at Watkins Glen back in 2014. So with 5 road courses on the 2021 NASCAR Xfinity Series schedule, it's not too surprising to hear he's coming back full-time. Now this announcement comes at an interesting time because just a couple days ago, I was actually going to do a video about it this week. AJ Allmendinger announced he was going to return to Kaulig next year, but the number of races had yet to be determined. I assume they were just going to run him a few select races, probably most of the road courses, some of the super speedways. But here we are just like 2 days later and oh, it's full-time. So Kaulig Racing next year is going to have 3 full-time drivers running for an Xfinity championship. Justin Haley is returning to the team after a Championship 4 appearance this past season. Jeb Burton joins the team, his first full-time NASCAR opportunity in a number of years. We talked about that in a recent episode, and now AJ Allmendinger is running full-time. So those are 3 talented Kaulig Racing drivers that are all going to have a shot at the Xfinity Series title. That's why I said at the beginning of this episode, the rest of the field needs to watch out. Now, it's worth noting no sponsorship has been announced yet for AJ Allmendinger. We know Nutrien Ag is staying on the 10 car for at least a number of races next season with Jeb Burton. I assume Leaf Filter is sticking with Justin Haley. Not sure exactly what kind of sponsorship they're going to piece together for AJ Allmendinger on the 16, but I know a lot of fans like myself are very excited to see what Allmendinger can do. He's going to be one of the veterans of the Xfinity Series next year. Allmendinger is 38 years old. Actually, I believe he's going to turn 39 before next season starts. So he is going to be one of the oldest, if not the oldest, full-time drivers in Xfinity next season. And along with that comes a lot of experience, not just in NASCAR, but he's run a number of different series, even in recent years, staying fresh. While he hasn't run full-time NASCAR, he has still been fairly busy. All I know is the NASCAR Xfinity Series is a very young series. You look at some of the early championship frontrunners for next season. People look at Harrison Burton, who I think is 20 years old. Noah Gragson's 22. Justin Haley is 21. It's still a very young series. Heck, the defending series champion, Austin Cindric, is only 22 years old. So AJ Allmendinger clocking in at 39. That's a lot of experience. I think it's safe to immediately throw AJ Allmendinger's name out there as a championship favorite for next season. We all can assume Austin Cindric is going to be good again next year. I think Noah Gragson's going to take another step forward. Harrison Burton's going to be good. Even Brandon Jones showed some great signs this year. He'll be a contender. It sounds like Riley Herbst is likely moving to SHR, so he'll be in a competitive car. We'll see what he could do. I don't think he's going to have the season Chase Briscoe had, so there's one heavyweight kind of out of the way since Briscoe's not running Xfinity next year. But you've got Daniel Hemrick joining Joe Gibbs Racing. Justin Allgaier is always a threat. The NASCAR Xfinity Series was possibly the most entertaining NASCAR series to watch last year, and a lot of that was because you had a lot of young, exciting young drivers who pissed each other off on a regular basis. You throw AJ Allmendinger into the mix, a guy who's always worn his emotions on his sleeve, and the fireworks show may be incredible. So I have a feeling next year's Xfinity Series season may somehow exceed our expectations. This is really cool news to hear, though. If we're looking towards the future, what does this mean for AJ Allmendinger? Is he ever going to make another run at the NASCAR Cup Series? I'm not sure. Again, he is 39 years old. That's fairly old even for a race car driver. I don't see him landing with a true contender anytime soon. Maybe he fills in a seat for a year if that comes into play. He seems really happy, really comfortable in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. He seems to really get along well with Chris Rice and Matt Collig at Collig Racing. He's found a really good home there. So I don't think AJ Allmendinger is going to be itching to jump into a average Cup Series ride. If a seat opens up with a true contender, I'm sure AJ Allmendinger would consider it. But I think chances are, if we do ever see AJ Allmendinger race in the NASCAR Cup Series again, it will likely be for Collig Racing. Collig Racing has openly stated in the last several months that they are looking to get into the NASCAR Cup Series at some point. Whether that's this next year in 2021, whether that's maybe into the next gen era a year or two, I mean, it's hard to say. Nobody knows for sure. There's still a lot of moving parts, and there are only a certain number of charters out there right now that might make getting into the Cup Series a little more difficult for a team like Collig at the moment. But I would not be shocked if we see Collig Racing run a couple of NASCAR Cup Series races next season, select races, maybe a road course, maybe the Daytona 500. That would not surprise me either. But as strong as Allmendinger and Collig's relationship seem to be, I don't see AJ Allmendinger bailing on the team to go chase some sort of Cup Series possibility. I think if we see Allmendinger run in Cup again, it will be for Matt Collig's Collig Racing team. This will be a developing story to watch over the next year or so. Does Collig Racing dive into the Cup Series next year for a couple of races, maybe get technical support, get race cars from another powerhouse organization? Are they able to secure a charter for the 2022 season? Are they able to secure a charter at all over the next several years? I'm sure there's going to be some turnover at the top level of NASCAR. There always is. But unless NASCAR does add a fourth manufacturer here in the next couple of seasons, it sounds unlikely that they're going to expand on the number of charters in the Cup Series. So I don't know what the next step for Collig Racing really is. I don't know. Opportunities often seem to present themselves to teams like Collig Racing. They've done a tremendous job in the NASCAR Xfinity Series the last couple of years, winning races, contending for championships, and giving young drivers great opportunities. Ross Chastain, if you recall, got his big break driving for Chip Ganassi Racing in the Xfinity Series in 2018, but when that deal with DC Solar fell through dramatically, Chastain landed with Collig, and Collig has been a tremendous home for Chastain the last couple of seasons. He's had great success with them. He's also had great success in the Truck Series, and now Ross Chastain has landed a great opportunity with Ganassi in the NASCAR Cup Series for this next season. So Collig Racing is out here building drivers' futures and building up their own future at the same time. You absolutely love to see it. It's really cool to have AJ Allmendinger back in NASCAR full-time. I mean, he might be my championship favorite right now. The only problem is that the championship race is still going to be at Phoenix, a track that, I don't know, is not necessarily best suited to AJ Allmendinger. If the championship race was the Charlotte Roval or even like a mile and a half, I think Allmendinger would be a good pick. But as things stand right now, I think Allmendinger is a very good pick to at least make the championship four, and then anything can happen. So watch out, Xfinity Series competition. The Dinger is here, and the Dinger is coming for your trophies. Anyway, y'all, that's all I have to talk about here in today's episode. Thank you all for watching. Let me know what you think of AJ Allmendinger's chances next season down in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel. We talk NASCAR almost every single day, even during the off season. And of course, a huge thank you to my amazing Patreon supporters. I could not do this show without your incredible support. More to come this week. I'm working on some other videos, and of course, if any major news breaks, we'll be here to cover it and discuss it. So thank you all for watching. Thank you for the support. I will see you all very, very soon.